Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Do you know, I sit in the mornings and I sort of pick out 4 or 5 stories that I think, well, I'll do the videos on these. Knowing that as I'm doing them, you know, the odd story will come in here and there. And I aim for about 6 a day, something like that. Sometimes I do more, it depends on how it is. But I aim sort of maybe 6 stories a day. It is like the curse of Sisyphus, because as I'm doing them and a story comes in and I go, well, I want to do that one next, but this has just come in and it's breaking and I'll do that one next. And today, it's been absolutely amazing. I sat there and I'm looking and I've got maybe 10 stories sitting, waiting to, now they're not all going to be done today, but it just goes to show how much is going on that is shady as hell in the SNP, because it's mostly SNP stories. And I'm just glad that I work 7 days a week to bring these stories to you. It's hard work, I do, and that's why I appreciate when anyone does hit the subscribe button. And on that note, please do hit the subscribe button. It really is hard work when you're doing these things. Like I say, 7 days a week without fail, unless of course obviously I'm either on holiday or alas ill in bed or even in hospital, as I have been. Now, I mentioned that I'm doing it 7 days because this next story is an example of something I can't possibly do. Humza Yousaf wants to introduce a 4-day week across Scotland, and the effects of it could be quite devastating. And we'll look at this, but even as I'm sort of looking just at the headline, straight away my mind is working on other things, because I can see many pitfalls that will cause utter mayhem. So we'll have a look at this and just see, and then we'll discuss the problems. Here goes. Now, of course, when he says 4-day week, he doesn't, of course, mean for everyone. No. Just for certain people. Civil servants, the government, MPs, MSPs, things like that. The elite. Not for the likes of you and me, of course. No. We've got to work as much as we can to pay taxes to keep these people employed 4 days a week. And if they're saying that they can do this and maintain the same level of service, it indicates that they're underworked at the moment. Because otherwise, there's going to be a drop in service levels. In which case, we've got to pay them less, surely. But we'll have a look. This. When we go through, and I'll explain one thing in particular, which I think is going to be a major stumbling block. But anyway, fury as Humza Yousaf's plans to allow SNP government civil servants to work a 4-day week. Just them. The trial is expected to be rolled out across the Scottish Government and its agencies before the end of the year, with campaigners calling for the SNP administration to stop the clock off. And there you go. There's your average civil servant now. Never mind what it's going to be like with a 4-day week. So Humza Yousaf is to unveil plans for the public sector that will offer civil servants the chance to work 4-day weeks. The move has sparked anger in the hospitality industry and envy across the private sector. The First Minister is expected to announce a pilot scheme for staff in a range of departments and agencies, and it comes after the Scottish Daily Express revealed that the Audit Scotland bosses were considering a similar move. Now, there's going to be backlash because people say it's unfair, just them, not us, why not us? But even within civil servants and government agencies and that, there's going to be a backlash, because why is it only them? Why is it not us? Why is it so different for certain people and others? Why not have equality? It's unequal, it's unfair. And so there will be moves then to make it for everyone, and perhaps even industrial action. We demand the 4-day week. They will capitulate. They will fold faster than Superman on the laundry day. The 4-day week pilots are expected to get underway by the end of this year. The Times reports the experiment will run for about 12 months, and if successful, could be rolled out far more widely within government, councils and other agencies. And that's the important one. Advisers hope successful Scottish Government pilots will potentially act as a catalyst for the private sector to follow suit. But it won't force it. It won't be obligatory. And this will improve the work-life balance for many thousands of workers if you've got an employer who is willing to take the hit. And how many are? It is not ideal. Now, I'm going to explain now why I think it is a really bad idea. If certain groups within the councils and the civil service have their 4-day weeks and others don't, then others will demand them at the threat of industrial action. And imagine teachers say, wait a minute, boyos, we want our 4-day week. We want our Fridays off. How can Humza Yousaf then say no to them while yes to everyone else? And so the teachers will get their 4-day week and they're off every Friday. And that's all very fine and pleasant, of course, except that the children will have nowhere to go and they will have to remain at home. And so the parents of children will have to either say to their employers, we need a 4-day week because I've got children at home because the teachers aren't there, so we demand a 4-day week. Or the SNP government will have to fork out tens of millions of pounds in providing full-time childcare on a Friday. Which is it to be? And this is a major, major problem. Because then if you have the problem that some firms will say, okay, if you've got children, you can have the 4-day week, then the ones without children are going to go, hang on a minute, that ain't fair. If they want the 4-day week, they've got to take a 20% cut in money, 25% cut in money, whatever, 20% cut, wouldn't it, in wages. And then the people work and say, well, that's not fair. No, we've got to take this time off because of the kids, because schools are closed. So, well, that's okay. If we're working a 5th day, we want a 20% increase in money. The private sector will collapse over it. It's so badly thought out. These people, because of course it is. Of course it's badly thought out. It's the SNP. You don't expect them to have any intelligent approach. How are they going to pay for the childcare? How are they going to tell businesses that they've got to let people with children have the time off? And then if they're letting only people with children with time off, what about the ones who don't have children? They'll demand that time off. Businesses will suffer massively. The only way it will work is if you increase the working day, and so you're still doing the 36 hours but over 4 days, and that must include government workers and council workers and everyone else still doing 36-hour weeks or 37.5-hour weeks, whatever it be, but just over 4 days. They won't like it, but that's the only fair way of doing it, surely. Anyway, hospitality and catering businesses expressed alarm at the prospect of public servants spending even less time at their desks, with the majority of Scottish Government's 22,000 staff still working from home after the pandemic. Fewer than a third of desks are occupied in 16 big office buildings, and 10 buildings are less than half full. At 4 Atlantic Quay in Glasgow, only 1 desk in 6 is being occupied, and at Victoria Quay and Staunton House in Edinburgh, only a quarter of desks had occupants in June. So let's face it, these buggers aren't working at all, are they? Anyway, come on. Leon Thompson, the Executive Director of UK Hospitality Scotland, said, we know that a lot of city centre businesses are struggling with rising costs and a lack of custom. And if the Scottish Government was able to get more of its workforce back into the office, that would be incredibly beneficial for those businesses who are really missing those workers right now. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go 4-day week, you've got to end work from home. You cannot have it both ways. You need people in the office doing the job rather than sitting at home and not doing the job, or at least doing it in a slapdash manner. Stephen Montgomery, spokesman. Now, I will be honest and say at this point, I am absolutely up for a 4-day week. I think everyone should have a 4-day week, but it's got to be everyone. It's got to be across the board. It cannot just be certain people. The 4-day week has to be the norm across the whole of the UK. And that's fine. But you have to extend the working days for the 4 days you are working, and then everyone has the Friday off. Now, obviously, some people have to work, there'll be retail and whatever. But the principle is that they do get 3 days off a week. And that has to be the norm. Stephen Montgomery, spokesman of the Scottish Hospitality Group, said the pandemic and lockdowns changed the way businesses were forced to operate, with everyone having to work from home where possible. It is unfortunate now that after 3 years, we see this habit enshrined across many businesses now, including our civil service. Last year, a 6-month pilot involving 61 companies employing 2,900 people ended with 56 firms reporting they would continue with the setup. Employees reported feeling less stressed, anxious, fatigued and sleepless afterwards, while company revenue stayed broadly the same or higher. Again, I don't see a problem with a 4-day week per se, as long as the working day is there, as long as the work is done. Now, they're not, they're running behind. The government, the council, everyone like that are running behind now. How further are they going to be with a 4-day week? The only way to do it, extend the hours per day, and that's fine. So make them work 9 hours a day, 4 days a week, and then they can have Friday off. Think of the massive savings, not having to travel in and out. The savings in transport alone will be well worth it. Last year, a 6-month pilot... Oh, we've done that bit, sorry. However, John O'Connell, Chief Executive of the Taxpayers Alliance, said, Scots have no appetite for a part-time public sector. A 4-day week with no loss of pay will mean either worse services or a huge cost to taxpayer. Unless, as you say, you put the hours up. That's the only way it works. Yeah, so, I mean, there's no problem with a 4-day week if it's everyone. It's across the board and Friday's off and parents can stay at home with their kids. It will give more work-life balance. I get it. But the working day has to extend so that the same amount of work is given and the productivity remains. Anything else is madness and unfair. But if you're going to do it and the teachers are off but the workers aren't, who's looking after those kids? That is the big thing that will stop it. That is the biggest blockage to this, because they are not going to be able to bring private companies across. At the moment you say that, workers with kids can have the day off but others can't, there will be massive ructions. And so, again, a very badly thought out idea from a very, very poorly educated and very stupid party. Anyway, I'm going to round up and come up. So again, it's just, it's a pipe dream really. I mean, everyone loves the idea of a 4-day week, but unless it's universal, it isn't going to happen, and it isn't going to be feasible, as I say, because the main problem being school children. And that needs to be addressed. That needs to be addressed day one. That is one of the first and most fundamental problems they have. So how do they propose going about it? And will it be phased? Will some people have Friday? Some people have Monday? Who knows? Who knows? It's just a bland thing. Oh, well, let's try it and let's see how it goes. What they're actually doing is pandering to the requirements of one little group. But the trouble is, the unfairness of it will lead to much tension. And it is actually opening a whole massive catering sized can of worms that will eventually consume everything because they're stupid. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see in here on the channel, do please hit that subscribe button. It's very important. Press the like, also important. Leave a comment, leave a share. Leave a share, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, 4-day weeks are great if it's for everyone. Bye.